You think you are standing at the top of the food chain, but sorry, you are merely a survivor. 140 million years ago, there was a creature which was a crocodile, yet it evolved the body of a shark, and when scientists first saw its fossil, they were silent for 3 whole days. Evolutionarily speaking, this thing shouldn't have existed at all. It abandoned its scales, grew fins, and even learned to give birth in the sea. It was 8 meters long, with a bite force capable of crushing you, bones and all, into a pulp, and it ruled the oceans for 20 million years, 100 times longer than human history, before vanishing overnight without a volcano, a meteorite, or a single trace, leaving paleontologists afraid to answer the question of what could make an ocean overlord go extinct en masse, and even more terrifyingly, if that thing was still here, guess what it would be eating now? Scientists named this creature the marine crocodile, or Thalattosuchian, meaning crocodile in the sea. But let me tell you, this name is too gentle and completely unworthy of its ferocity. The story begins 200 million years ago, when the Earth had just experienced a mass extinction event between the Triassic and Jurassic periods, leaving the oceans in shambles with vast ecological niches left empty, and at this moment, a group of crocodiles made a crazy decision to go into the sea. You might say there's nothing strange about crocodiles going into the sea, since saltwater crocodiles do it too. But I'm telling you that is completely different. Saltwater crocodiles only occasionally take a stroll in the sea, whereas this group of crocodiles intended to become fully marine creatures. First, they modified their tails. While a normal crocodile's tail is round like a stick, the marine crocodile evolved a shark-like tail fin that exploded their swimming speed, allowing them to shuttle through the water like torpedoes. Then their limbs began to atrophy, with thick claws turning into flat flippers just like a dolphin's, marking the first time true flippers appeared in archosaurs, which meant they abandoned the land forever. But the craziest change was that they threw away their armor. What crocodiles are most proud of is their impenetrable, scaly armor. But the marine crocodiles said they didn't need it and evolved smooth skin like a dolphin without a single scale because, in the sea, speed is more important than defense, and when you are the hunter, you don't need armor. Scientists classify this group of fully marine crocodiles as Metriorhynchidae, and they were the most adapted to the ocean of all archosaurs, more extreme than ichthyosaurs and more thorough than plesiosaurs. In this family, there was a tough character called Plesiosuchus, nearly 7 meters long, equivalent to an adult orca. But while orcas are mammals that are social and cooperative, Plesiosuchus was a solitary killer who took on the entire ocean alone. Its mouth was full of curved, slicing teeth, not the conical teeth of a crocodile, but serrated blades that could tear dozens of kilograms of flesh from prey in one bite. Paleontologists found chewed ichthyosaur bones next to its fossils, and you heard that right. Ichthyosaurs, the top predators of the ocean at the time, were just a lunch in the eyes of Plesiosuchus. Yet, Plesiosuchus wasn't the most terrifying. The true nightmare was called Dacosaurus, whose name means tearing lizard in Greek. And just by hearing the name, you know this wasn't a benevolent creature. Dacosaurus fossils were first found in Germany, and scientists initially thought they were teeth from some carnivorous dinosaur because they looked too much like T-Rex. Teeth, big, curved, with fine serrations on the edges, before discovering that this thing was actually a crocodile. A crocodile with dinosaur teeth. Dacosaurus's head was short and not flat like a normal crocodile. Viewed from the side, it was triangular like an axe, a shape that provided stronger bite force, and scientists estimate that a single bite from Dacosaurus was strong enough to pierce an ichthyosaur's belly. Moreover, this guy was incredibly smart and knew how to use its advantages. Dacosaurus wouldn't tear wildly like a shark, but would first ram its prey with that axe-like head to stun or injure it before slowly feasting, a hunting strategy that was nearly unsolvable in the oceans of that time. Even more absurd is that Dacosaurus fossils have been found not only in Europe but also in South America, with bones dug up in Argentina and Mexico, proving that this creature had an extremely wide distribution covering almost the entire ancient Tethys Ocean the predecessor of today's Mediterranean and Indian Oceans. Imagine that scene 150 million years ago. Warm, tropical oceans teeming with a group of scaleless crocodiles with tails like sharks, limbs like dolphins, and teeth like dinosaurs, where any creature entering their territory became prey. Ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, giant schools of fish, and even pterosaurs flying too low could not escape. This group of marine crocodiles ruled the ocean for 80 million years, from the early Jurassic to the early Cretaceous. And do you know what 80 million years means? Humans have only been walking upright for 7 million years, so their reign was more than 10 times longer than human history. But then, something weird happened. About 125 million years ago, this family suddenly disappeared from the Earth without a meteorite impact, a supervolcano eruption, or drastic sea level changes. Nothing. They just went extinct silently, with the last batch of marine crocodile fossils found in early Cretaceous strata, and then never again. As if they had never existed. Paleontologists have proposed several hypotheses. The first is that the climate cooled. As the Earth did experience a cooling period from the late Jurassic to the early Cretaceous, and since marine crocodiles were cold-blooded and lacked thermoregulation, they might have become sluggish in low temperatures and frozen to death. The second hypothesis is more interesting, suggesting their prey evolved. Specifically, that a new type of fish called teleosts began to rise during that period, which swam faster, were more agile, and harder to catch, leaving the marine crocodiles unable to keep up. But the most terrifying hypothesis is the third one, which says the mosasaur appeared. What is a mosasaur? It was the ultimate overlord of the Cretaceous oceans, reaching lengths of up to 17 meters, a full double the size of a marine crocodile, and possessing a body structure shockingly similar to the marine crocodile, with a streamlined body, paddle-like limbs, and a powerful tail, making it simply an upgraded version of the marine crocodile. Perhaps the marine crocodiles didn't go extinct naturally, but were eliminated, thoroughly replaced by a stronger, more ferocious latecomer, just like in business competition, where it's not that you aren't good enough, but that your opponent is too strong. This is the cruelty of evolution. For it doesn't matter if you ruled for 80 million years, as long as an opponent more adapted to the environment appears, you have to step aside with no exceptions. But the story isn't over. In 2024, a research team from the University of Southampton in the UK published a paper in which they CT scanned 11 marine crocodile skulls and discovered an amazing secret. The marine crocodile's sinuses were completely different from modern whales. While a whale's sinuses shrink as diving depth increases to resist water pressure, the marine crocodile's sinuses would expand in deep water, meaning they couldn't dive deep and were restricted to shallow waters because if they dove too deep, their skulls would be crushed by water pressure, which was their Achilles heel. Scientists also found a special salt gland in the marine crocodile's sinuses capable of excreting excess salt from the body. When the marine crocodile contracted its jaw muscles, the salt gland would be squeezed, causing them to sneeze the salt out, just like today's marine iguanas. Can you imagine a sneezing crocodile? The image is both terrifying and comical. These discoveries tell us that although marine crocodiles were extremely adapted to the ocean, they had a fatal weakness in that their evolution wasn't thorough enough. They couldn't dive deep like whales or breathe efficiently like dolphins, getting stuck halfway through evolution, just one step away from dominating the deep sea, and if they had been given another few tens of millions of years, perhaps today's oceans would be teeming with giant creatures with crocodile mouths. But history has no ifs. The mosasaur came, and the marine crocodile left. Now, back to the opening question. If the marine crocodile hadn't gone extinct, what would the world be like today? First, sharks might not have become the ocean overlords because marine crocodiles were more ferocious and adaptable than sharks, so sharks surviving until today is in some measure thanks to the marine crocodile's extinction. Second, humans might never dare to go into the sea, with an 8-meter-long sneezing crocodile with dinosaur teeth patrolling every warm sea, making swimming, surfing, and diving unthinkable. The story of the marine crocodile tells us that there is never an eternal overlord on this earth, No matter how powerful you are or how long you have ruled, one day a stronger existence will replace you. It was true for the dinosaurs, true for the marine crocodiles, and can we humans be an exception? Next time you go to the seaside and look at that blue ocean, think about how 140 million years ago, beneath those waters, swam the most terrifying killers on Earth. They are gone, but the ocean remains, and we are just another batch of passers-by.